"Step away from the calf, Sarah," Marcus hissed, his hand resting on his holster. Dr. Sarah Miller froze, her fingers pressed against a cold, metallic lump hidden deep beneath the baby elephant's skin. The zoo's security team was forcing an emergency transfer to Dubai, treating the rare calf like disposable cargo. Sarah realized the lump wasn't a tumor. It was a lead-lined capsule. As the transport crate arrived, she made a desperate choice: perform a secret surgery or let the baby be flown into a death trap. Before we go any further, if this is your first time here, we'd love for you to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Your support means the world and helps us bring you even more powerful stories. Stick with us until the end, and if this mystery moves you, share your thoughts in the comments and pass it along to a friend. The air in the elephant sanctuary was thick with the scent of hay and the humid breath of a dozen giants. Dr. Sarah Miller, her stethoscope draped around her neck like a silver garland, knelt in the soft sand of the nursery enclosure. Before her stood Mavi, a 3-month-old calf whose trunk was currently busy exploring the pockets of Sarah's lab coat. It was supposed to be a standard developmental checkup, measuring heart rate, checking the ivory nubs, and ensuring the calf was hitting her weight milestones. But as Sarah ran her hands along Mavi's left shoulder, her fingers hit a snag. It wasn't a swelling. It wasn't a cyst. It was a hard, distinct protrusion, roughly the size of a walnut, but with a terrifyingly sharp edge. Sarah's brow furrowed. She pressed down gently, and Mavi let out a low, vibrating rumble, not of pain, but of discomfort. Sarah leaned in, her nose inches from the calf's thick, gray skin. There was no scar tissue, no sign of a puncture wound, and yet, the object beneath the skin felt metallic. "What have you got there, little one?" Sarah whispered, her voice barely audible over the distant chatter of the morning zoo crowds. She moved her hand to the other shoulder to compare. Nothing. The symmetry was gone. This wasn't a natural growth. As she pressed again, a strange sensation traveled up her fingertips. The object was unnaturally cold, as if it were drawing the heat right out of the elephant's body. The injustice of the moment began to prickle at the back of her neck. Sarah had spent 10 years at the Metropolitan Zoo, and she knew the history of every animal in her care. Mavi was the miracle calf, the first of her subspecies born in captivity in a decade. To find a foreign object inside her felt like a violation of the sanctuary she had worked so hard to build. "Hey Doc, how's the princess looking?" A voice cut through the quiet. It was Greg, the night shift keeper, lean and perpetually smelling of tobacco. He was leaning against the steel gate, his eyes tracking Sarah's hands with an intensity that felt out of place for a casual check-in. "She's fine, Greg. Just a bit of localized inflammation," Sarah lied, her instinct for secrecy kicking in. She didn't know why, but she didn't want Greg to know about the lump. Not yet. "Inflammation, huh? Probably just a bug bite," Greg said, stepping into the enclosure. He reached out to pat Mavi, but the calf backed away, tucking herself behind Sarah's legs. "She's been moody lately. Maybe you should just let her rest. No need for any fancy scans." Sarah looked from the keeper to the calf. The curiosity loop was already tightening. If it was a bug bite, it wouldn't be cold. If it was an infection, there would be heat. She stood up, smoothing out her coat. "Actually, I think I'll run a quick portable ultrasound. Just to be safe." Greg's smile didn't reach his eyes. "The director's already breathing down our necks about the budget, Sarah. You really want to waste $1,000 on a scan for a bump?" "It's not a waste if it's my patient," Sarah snapped. She watched Greg walk away, his pace hurried. As soon as he was out of sight, she pulled her phone out and dialed the imaging department. She felt a cold shiver that had nothing to do with the sanctuary's climate control. Mavi wasn't just a baby elephant anymore. She was a container for something that people were clearly willing to lie about. The portable ultrasound monitor cast a flickering, ghostly light against the walls of the darkened elephant barn. Sarah worked quickly, her heart hammering against her ribs. She had told the security desk she was just checking Mavi's digestive tract to avoid suspicion, but her probe was firmly planted on the calf's shoulder. As the gel-slicked sensor glided over the lump, the image on the screen didn't show the grainy gray of muscle or the white of bone. Instead, a sharp black shadow appeared, a perfect rectangle that the ultrasound waves couldn't penetrate. "It's lead-lined," Sarah whispered to herself. The lump was a capsule, designed to be invisible to traditional X-rays and thermal scanners. Someone hadn't just accidentally hurt Mavi. They had performed a precision surgical strike. Based on the depth and the lack of external scarring, the object had been implanted when Mavi was under heavy sedation for her newborn vaccinations, a time when Sarah had trusted her team implicitly. The barn door creaked open, and Sarah instinctively tilted the monitor away. It wasn't Greg this time. It was Marcus, the zoo's head of security, a man with a background in private military contracting and a reputation for efficiency over empathy. "Dr. Miller," Marcus said, his voice a smooth, dangerous baritone, "I was informed you were performing unauthorized diagnostics after hours." "I noticed a suspicious mass, Marcus. It's my job to investigate," Sarah replied, trying to keep her hand from shaking as she wiped the gel off Mavi. "Your job is to follow protocol. The director has decided that Mavi is to be transferred to a private conservatory in Dubai. The transport crate arrives at 4 a.m. We don't have time for suspicious masses." The injustice felt like a physical weight. They were trying to ship Mavi out before Sarah could prove what was inside her. If that calf got on a private plane, she would be operated on by people who didn't care if she survived the recovery. She'd be a living suitcase, discarded the moment the contents were retrieved. "She's not fit for travel," Sarah stated firmly, standing her ground. "As the attending vet, I am placing a medical hold on this animal." Marcus stepped closer, his shadow looming over the baby elephant. "The paperwork is already signed, Sarah. Don't make this a matter of police intervention. Go home. Get some sleep. Let the professionals handle the transport." As Marcus escorted her out, Sarah saw Greg standing by the service gate, holding a specialized medical kit, one that didn't belong to the zoo. The curiosity loop was closed. The security head and the keeper were working together. They weren't just smuggling. They were using the zoo's most high-profile animal as a diplomatic bypass for international customs. Sarah didn't go home. She waited in the parking lot until Marcus's truck circled to the back of the facility. She knew she had 3 hours before the transport arrived. She grabbed her emergency surgical kit from her trunk and a bottle of fast-acting sedative. She wasn't just a vet anymore. She was Mavi's only hope for survival. The back entrance to the elephant barn was unguarded. Marcus was likely busy forging the final transport manifests in the main office. Sarah slipped inside, the silence of the zoo at 2 a.m. feeling heavy and prophetic. Mavi chirped when she saw Sarah, but the vet moved with grim focus. She administered a light sedative, just enough to keep the calf standing but numb to the world. With a steady hand, Sarah made a clean 2-inch incision. She didn't find a tumor. She found a sleek titanium and lead cylinder. As she pulled it free, the barn doors burst open. "Step away from the calf, Sarah," Marcus shouted, his sidearm drawn. Greg stood behind him, looking panicked. "I found it, Marcus," Sarah said, holding the blood-slicked cylinder up. "I know why you're shipping her to Dubai. You're not just security. You're a mule. Give it to me, and you walk out of here," Marcus threatened, stepping into the light. But Sarah had anticipated the confrontation. Before she had re-entered the barn, she had started a live stream to the zoo's public elephant cam and alerted the local PD. "The world is watching, Marcus. Look up." The red tally light on the enclosure's overhead camera was blinking. Marcus froze, realizing his discreet operation was being broadcast to thousands of night owl viewers and, more importantly, the zoo's board of directors. The sound of sirens began to wail in the distance. Realizing the game was up, Greg tried to bolt, but he tripped over a hay bale and was pinned by the arriving officers. Marcus was disarmed and handcuffed right in front of Mavi's enclosure. Sarah opened the cylinder. Inside, nestled in velvet, were 6 massive, uncut blood diamonds, a shipment worth over $50 million. The strange lump was a fortune built on the exploitation of an innocent creature. Mavi made a full recovery, her shoulder healing with barely a scar. The Dubai transfer was cancelled, and the Metropolitan Zoo received a massive influx of donations following the high-profile arrest of the smuggling ring. Dr. Sarah Miller was hailed as a hero, but for her, the real reward was watching Mavi run in the sun, free from the weight of human greed. The secret in the skin was out, and the calf was finally safe. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories of animals and the heroes who protect them. Mavi was being used as a pawn in a dangerous game, but her vet refused to look the other way. If you believe every animal deserves a voice and a protector, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Drop a comment below. How far would you go to save an innocent creature in your care?